Alright, so here's the third example on solving polynomials. The first two that I worked, the degree of the polynomial was 3. It was a cube. And on one of them, after we broke it down, the remaining polynomial would factor. On the second example, it wouldn't factor. So we solved it by completing the square. So if you want to check those two out, it's example 1 and 2. They're separate videos. And in this video, we're going to look at a polynomial with degree 4. So if we have any polynomial here, okay, degree n, that n is the largest exponent, has integer coefficients, and every rational zero of the function has the form p over q, where p and q have no common factors other than 1. So all that means is that the fraction's reduced. And p is a factor of the constant term a naught, and q is a factor of the leading coefficient a sub n, the coefficient of the variable with the largest exponent. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to list our factors of p and q. Alright, so remember, p is a factor of the constant term. Okay, so p is a factor of this term. So p, now what all numbers can I multiply to give me -8? Well, a 1, okay, but we have to do plus or minus, because 1 times 8, and then what else? 2 times 4, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 4, and plus or minus 8. These are all the factors of 8. Now, why am I doing plus or minus? Well, we have a -8, don't we? Well, 1 times -8 is -8. -1 times +8 is -8. And same thing here, +2 times -4, -2 times +4. So we list everything. And then q is a factor of the leading coefficient, which in this case is 1, so the only thing we have there is plus or minus 1. So now we need to list p over q. Okay, well, that means we put this over this, the 2 over 1, the plus or minus 4 over 1, and the plus or minus 8 over 1. So basically all it is plus or minus 1 over 1 is 1, plus or minus 2 over 1 is 2, plus or minus 4 over 1 is 4, and plus or minus 8 over 1 is plus or minus 8. Alright, so now we have to test all of these to see which ones work. Okay, typically what I do, I just start with the 1, okay, and see if I get 0. Well, if you remember how to do this, you can do it with synthetic division. We're going to try +1. So that's 1, -3, -20, -24, and -8. Okay, so when we do the synthetic division, and if you're at this point in your math class, you should know how to do synthetic division. If we get a remainder of 0, then that means 1 is a 0 of the function. Alright, so we're going to bring the 1 down. 1 times 1 is 1. -3 plus 1 is -2. 1 times -2 is -2. And this is going to be -22. And 1 times -22 is -22. And this is going to give me -46. -46, and I mean, I'm not going to add those together. I mean, we would get -54, but you can see it's not 0. So that means 1 did not work. 1 is not a solution. So, well, let's go to the next one. negative 1. Okay, so 1, bring the 1 down. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. That's going to be negative 4. So this would be positive 4. And that's going to give me what? Negative 16. And that's going to give me 16. That's going to give me negative 8. That's going to give me 8. And then I have 0. Alright, so we can see that negative 1 is one of the solutions. Alright, so what does this mean? Well, remember, okay, this was a x to the 4th, and when we did the synthetic division, so that's going to give me x cubed minus 4x squared minus 16x minus 8. So basically what it does is it takes this polynomial here and it's factoring it into x plus 1 times this, x cubed minus 4x squared minus 16x minus 8. See, this right here is a 0. Okay, this is one of the factors. So when we look at this, well, we can see that we can't solve this either. Okay, we can't solve this either. So we have to do this again on this one. We have to break this one down some more. Okay, so now, which is basically this, so we're going to have to do the synthetic division again, but on this polynomial, 1, negative 4, negative 16, negative 8. And we've got to test out our zeros. Well, I've done 1 and negative 1. Well, now we can go to 2. Okay. Well, just to save time for the video, 2 is not going to work. The next one that will work is negative 2. Okay, but you would just go through and test them and see which one gives you a remainder of 0 again for this polynomial. Okay, so now we have, let's see, bring the 1 down, that's negative 2, add them, that's negative 6, that's 12, that's negative 4, that's 8, and there's our remainder of 0. So remember, this is x squared minus 6x minus 4. So basically what we have is this thing here, if we're factoring it, it would factor into x plus 1 times x plus 2 times x squared minus 6x minus 4. Okay, so see, basically what we're doing, we're just taking it step by step and factoring it. Alright, so, but like I said, we have a solution. There's one solution, there's the second solution, and that comes from these two factors. See, if we set each of these equal to 0, we would get negative 1 and negative 2. Well, now we need to solve this one. Well, it doesn't factor, but it doesn't matter that it doesn't factor because we know how to solve this quadratic. So we're going to take x squared minus 6x minus 4, set it equal to 0. So two options here. We can use quadratic formula. We can complete the square. Since I know most of you already know how to do the quadratic formula, let's complete the square on it. Give you a little review on that. And plus, completing the square would be easier since this term here is even. We won't end up with any fractions. So I get x squared minus 6x, move the 4 over and leave us a little space there. So I take the negative 6 and I half it, it's negative 3, square it, I get 9, so I add 9 over here. So x minus 3 squared equals 13. X minus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 13. Add the 3 to both sides. X equals 3 plus or minus square root of 13. So our solutions, you remember, our solutions are negative 2, -2, and -1. So that's going to be -2, -1, and this 3 plus or minus square root of 13. And that's your solution. And I hope that helped. Check out the other two videos. It's the polynomials for those. Their cube is the largest power. Basically, it's like solving this thing here. Okay. You only have to do this synthetic division stuff once. Okay. Because once you do it to a cube one time, you're gonna get the quadratic. All right. So I hope this helped. Thanks for watching. Give me a like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.